Community Motors West Side, the GM Superstore next to Cinema West. Community Motors of Mason City, we give you more.
Having been a federal tax prosecutor for 5 years, Michele Bachman began her journey into politics when she decided to publicly oppose the corruption of Minnesota's public education system by egalitarian theories of non-achievement and political correctness. This led to her election as a Minnesota state senator in the year 2000. In 2006, she became the first Republican woman elected to the House of Representatives from Minnesota, serving its 6th congressional district, where she has been a consistent conservative advocate for life, a free economy, and national defense. In Congress, Michele serves on the Financial Services Committee and on the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Married for more than 30 years, Michele and her husband Marcus have 5 children and have also opened their hearts and home to 23 foster children. Please give Michele a warm North Iowa welcome.
Thank you, everyone, and Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And first of all, I need to apologize. We actually had such successful stops everywhere that we were all across Iowa today that each one went longer than what we thought. So it was a very good problem, but we're very sorry that we were late coming to Mason City. So thank you for your graciousness, and thank you all for being here today. I am so grateful. And this is my husband of over 30 years, 33 years, Marcus Bachman. It takes a very special man to be willing to be a father to 5 children and 23 foster children. So I'm really grateful to have a man who's willing to do that. He really has broken hearts for at-risk kids just like I do. And it's a blessing to be able to open up our home in that way. Tonight we're going to talk about health care. And before we do, I'm just going to have a drink of water. So excuse me. Thank you. We're going to talk about healthcare tonight, but it's really your night. We can talk about what you want to talk about as well, but this is about medical. And the reason why this is so important is because with this presidential election, we only have one chance to get this issue right, because something happened that has never happened before in the history of the country. We had a bill passed called Obamacare, and it is socialized medicine for the first time ever. And contained in this bill of Obamacare, it is the federal government taking over 18% of the American economy. Now that's astounding when you think of it. 1/6 of the entire economy, the government just took over because they're going to control it. And they're already issuing mammoth numbers of rules and regulations that are changing our world overnight. One of those rules and regulations is this. We now, for the first time in the history of the country, have taxpayer-funded abortion. That's never happened before. We have it because it's contained within the rules and regulations of Obamacare. This is a bad thing. This means we no longer have the right to deal with this issue. Now the federal government does. And it got worse after that. We saw President Obama in a stunning abuse of power on August 1st of this year. He said, now I am issuing an order and a decree, because I'm president and because I can do it under Obamacare. I'm going to say that every woman in the United States now can get for free all the birth control pills they want, all the reproductive devices they want, and the morning after abortion pill. So he's ordering all private insurance companies, no matter if they want to or not, they must now offer the morning after abortion pill, and it has to be free to all women. Now think of what that means. You have a president deciding what pills or what procedures will be offered and to whom and at what price. That is a medical dictator. That's what Obamacare has given to us. And so whether you agree with abortion or don't agree with abortion, I'm 100% pro-life from conception until natural death. Yes. But I firmly believe that it is wrong for the government to tell us that we have to violate our moral conscience. Because you see, under Obamacare, we are forced to pay for this health care. We are forced to buy it, whether we like it or not, whether we want it or not, whether we want to have our own system of health care or not. We are all forced into this one system. And so we will all be forced, for those of us who disagree with abortion and believe it is a moral wrong, we will now be forced to violate our moral conscience and pay for other people's abortions. Never before has that happened in the United States. It's a stunning level of power. And the only time that we'll have to be able to ever get rid of this system is in 2012 with this presidential election. We'll never have another opportunity. Why do I say that? Because in this bill that took over 1/6 of the American economy, there was also a provision made for $105,464 million. Now this is a lot of money. Iowa spends on its annual budget about, is Kent Sorensen, are you in here? The state senator?
Yes.
Okay, Kent, is it $6 billion?
Our budget? Yes.
Oh.
It's under, actually, it's the first time it's been under $6 billion since in a couple of years, but it's just under $6 billion.
Okay, now this is Kent Sorensen. He's a state senator. Do we have any other state senators or state reps here tonight?
No.
Okay, we got Kent Sorensen. He's from Indianola, and I want to commend your Iowa legislature. This is something they do really well. Iowa state law says the legislature can't spend more than 99% of what they take in. Only this year it was 95%. Right, Kent?
Yes, I believe it was 95%.
95%. If only the federal government would be half as smart as Iowa. That's all I can say. I'm very proud of you guys, Kent. Under Obamacare, as I said, $105,464 million. The reason why I want to pull out Kent to verify that the Iowa annual budget is $6 billion is because, think of this, $105 billion is in Obamacare. This is just a kickstart it. That's how expensive this thing is. Just kickstart it. There's only one way to do it. You have to repeal it. You pass a law through the House, through the Senate, and then as president, I will sign that law. And the reason why we got Obamacare is because President Obama's party, the Democrat Party, they controlled the House with Nancy Pelosi. They controlled the Senate with Harry Reid, but even more than that, they had 60 votes in the Senate. You need 60 votes to be what they call filibuster proof, and then you get your bills sailing through. So they got it through because they had 60 votes. So this is what I'm going to do. I think we're going to hold on to the House majority, which is now Republican. And I am going to work, I'm an extremely hardworking woman, and I am going to work and help elect 13 more Republican senators to get up to 60, and that's how we're going to repeal Obamacare, and we're going to do it out of the gate. That's my one question for these senators when I'm the Republican nominee. Will you vote with me on every vote there is to get rid of Obamacare? Then I'm going to help you get elected. Because the American people don't want this bill. It's at its lowest approval rating ever. Nobody wants it because they all know what it's going to mean. Higher expenses. Anybody's health care expenses going up? Anybody at all? Raise your hand. Okay, well, it looks like it's pretty unanimous. President Obama said, though, if we pass Obamacare, that your health insurance premium would go down $2,500 a year. How many have seen a $2,500 reduction this year? Looks like it didn't work, did it? Well, what I want to do is bring down the cost of health care, and this is how we'll do it. Once we repeal Obamacare, what I want to do is end the monopoly that's in every single state on health insurance. Did you know that there's a monopoly? Every state has a monopoly, and it's protected by the federal government. I want to get rid of that monopoly so that people in Mason City can buy any health insurance policy you want anywhere in the United States with no minimum federal requirements. Then I want you to be able to take your own money that's tax-free. You pay zero taxes on that money, so you have a lot more of it. And then I want you to be able to pay for your health insurance premium, your co-pays, your deductible, your pharmaceuticals. If you go to the chiropractor, whatever your health care needs are, I want you to be able to pay for it with your own tax-free money. And then I want to have medical malpractice liability reform. that is killing our docs right now across the country because the prices are going through the roof. That's really what the problem is in healthcare, is the cost. So I want to address it so people can own their own health insurance policies. We can do this. And I believe of all of the candidates that are running right now, I will be the one who has the best opportunity and the best chance to defeat them, and I'm going to tell you why. This political climate is very similar to 1980 when Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan were running in that election. Now, in that year, Jimmy Carter had just taken the economy off the cliff. He had taken foreign policy off the cliff. That was not the year for us to have a moderate. Somebody who was a lot like Jimmy Carter. We didn't need a moderate. What we needed was a conservative. Everyone said, oh, Ronald Reagan is too conservative. He could never be elected. He was the best candidate to take on Jimmy Carter. He had the best ideas. He could speak and he could take Jimmy Carter on. And once he became president, he had the guts that this country needed to get the country back on track with the economy, but also he had the guts to stand up to the Soviets, and we won the Cold War without firing a shot. I'd say that's a pretty good day's work for Ronald Reagan. And so the question is, who will stand in the legacy of Ronald Reagan? Who will do what Ronald Reagan did? We need that kind of a candidate now. Somebody who's going to stand up unashamedly for protecting human life from conception until natural death. Somebody who's going to stand up unashamedly for marriage between one man and one woman. And I do. I sponsor that legislation. Somebody who's going to stand up for our religious liberties. Somebody who, I'm a former tax lawyer, and also my husband and I started our own company. We employ scores of people. And we did this because we get what you have to do in the free market to create a profit. We actually think a profit is a good thing. We're not ashamed of a profit. That's what America is based on. We need someone who gets the tax code. I do. It's a mess. It's 3.8 million words. My goal is to abolish the tax code. Get rid of it, the whole tax code. And what I want to do is lead a national discussion. Do we want to have a national sales tax? That's called the fair tax. Is that what we want? Or do we want to have, that's one way, or do we want to have what's called a flat tax? That's where you have a low rate and everyone gets on board with that rate. What I want to do is make America not the toughest place to do business. We have the highest effective tax rate in the world for businesses. You want to know why jobs are leaving America? Look at the tax code. That will tell you why jobs are leaving America. And so I'm going to abolish the tax code with my 60 friends in the Senate and in the House. We're going to get rid of it and lower the tax rate and create jobs. Millions and millions of jobs. I'm also the candidate with the best record on immigration. I'm going to build the fence within the first year in office on our southern border. I'm going to make sure that our border security guards are fully equipped. Then we're going to make English the official language of the United States government. It's about time. And then I'm going to enforce the laws on the books, which means deportation. If you are here in this country illegally, we will employ deportation. And I'm going to end the practice of giving automatic citizenship to babies who are born to illegal aliens who are born here illegally in this country. We have to stop the magnets in this country for bringing people in who are here illegally. Here's the other thing I've been working on for 4 years. Legalizing American energy production. Yes. We've got to do this. God has so blessed the United States. We're the #1 energy resource rich nation in the world. You wouldn't know that, would you, by listening to TV? But we are. And so I'm going to build the Keystone 2 pipeline. Why anybody wouldn't build it is beyond me. And the only reason Barack Obama isn't is because he sold out to the radical environmental groups who told him, if you build that pipeline, we're not going to go door to door and volunteer for you. Well, guess what? We are going to go door to door. We're going to make sure he's a one-term president. We're going to legalize American energy. And I'm determined to get gasoline back down to the price it was the day that Barack Obama took office as president, $1.79 a gallon. That's what I'm going to do. And to do that, I need you to come out on caucus night on January 3rd and vote for me, because I will be, Sam, that Margaret Thatcher that America needs right now, to be the voice of the common sense Iowans that I grew up hearing. I was born here in Waterloo and raised in Cedar Falls. My mom was born and raised here in Mason City. This is where my grandma lived, over by East Park. If you know the Deer Park, we called it the Deer Park, East Park. This is, and by the way, I had an aunt that worked at the McNider Library, and her name was Marion the librarian. So you're all going to love that. So this is home sweet home for us. But I want to open this up to you and let you know this first before I actually really truly give it to you, is that I am somebody who is a real person. I'm not a politician. I don't know how to be a politician. I'm in trouble in Washington all the time because I don't know how to be a politician, because I'm not for sale. I can't be bought. Last quarter, I had 97,000 donations for my presidential race. Average donation, $42. I'm extremely proud of that because I'm a real person with a real voice that I learned growing up in Iowa. And I have successfully taken that voice to the halls of Congress. I've done nothing but cause trouble the entire time I've been there.
Yes,
and
Michelle. Yes, Michelle.
And as president, that's my best evidence for you. I've been tested by the fire for these last 5 years in Washington. Absolutely tested by the fire. And I have not caved. I have not shrunk back. And that's because of this titanium spine that Sam talked about, and that's what I'm going to do. So all I want to say is God bless you. God bless America. Let's get it right this time in 2012. Yes, you have questions? Yes, ma'am.
I'm not 100% familiar with Obamacare. I've heard rumors that high-up politicians are actually exempt from Obamacare. Is that true?
Not to my knowledge. If they are, that would be one more crime with Obamacare. President Obama has, and I don't begrudge him this at all, he has a physician that is with him at all times. I think that's right. So he wouldn't be a part of it. As a member of Congress, I'm a federal employee just like any other federal employee. I have the same health insurance as any other employee, and I pay, my portion as an employee. That is the way that it should be. We don't get any special perks. And also, let me say this too, there's a myth and a rumor going around that members of Congress don't pay Social Security taxes. That's not true. We do pay Social Security taxes, and we should. We should pay it. The other thing is, there's also a rumor that's going around that says that we get a salary for life. If you're in the Congress, you get a salary for life. We don't. The day that we're done, we don't get a salary anymore. And that is also the way it should be. The president does get a salary for life for being president, and I don't begrudge him that, that he gets that. But that applies to him, but it doesn't apply to members of Congress. But I haven't heard that members of Congress are exempt. Maybe there's something, but I haven't heard it.
How much do you pay for your health insurance?
How much do I pay? The same copay. You can choose between different plans that are available.
How much money do you pay?
How much money do I pay?
A month.
Marcus?
It's deducted about $400 to $500.
$4,500.
For the whole family?
Yeah.
Well, we pay $1,000 for the whole family.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Well, but I pay that toward the insurance. So.
What about a pension that legislators get after they retire?
Well, there is a pension that I can contribute to. It's the same as any other federal employee. I don't have any special pension. I have the same one as any employer, and so I can contribute part of my salary toward it.
Governor Perry gets $90,000 a year pension.
I just read that he does. I don't. I don't, and that is as it should be. Yes, sir.
I've got two. How do you propose eliminating the federal gifts to countries, and how do we get word out to people in all the United States so they can support you?
Hey, that's great. That's a great question. The best way, honestly, I think, is through word of mouth. Talking to people. The best way you can do it is by making sure that I win the Iowa caucus on January 3rd. That's the cannon shot that will be heard all across the United States. Trust me, On January 3rd, that night, and on January 4th, the whole world is going to know who won the Iowa caucus. That's what we need to do. My website is michelebachman.com. We need volunteers, we need donations, and there's no gift too small and too large, I guess. So, you come and donate, but also you can help and volunteer. You can go to the website and phone from home. We have literally people, we have hundreds and hundreds of people every single night making phone calls to get out the vote. And you can help us too if you'd make 15 to 25 calls or however many you can make a day. If you just want to sign up and help us, it goes real fast. We'd like to have your help. But this is it. January 3rd is the cannon shot that's going to be heard around the world. And if we win the Iowa caucuses on January 3rd, and that's what I'm aiming to do, we're going to go from there. And I'm telling you, South Carolina is wide open. If we win South Carolina, we're going to win Florida. And if we win Florida, I'm the nominee. I mean, it's all going to start here in Iowa. This is it. And your first question was regarding, is it foreign aid?
Yeah.
Foreign aid you're worried about?
One of your competitors said they're going to repeal all foreign aid and let them come to him and ask for money, and then he'll evaluate. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Well, foreign aid is a big issue because we're giving it to people that have no business getting it. But there are some people that are going to get it who need to. And who needs to get it is Israel. Israel is under a tremendous attack right now from her hostile neighbors. And they get about $3 billion a year. It's some of the best money that we could possibly spend because they can defend themselves. They can do things in that region that we can't do. And a lot of that is also money that we spend on intelligence gathering. I'm on the intelligence committee. We deal with the nation's classified secrets. It's national security issues, and obviously I can't talk about that, but I will tell you that this is an extremely dangerous time. We probably haven't been in a more dangerous time in the last 40 years because of Iran. And so we need to make sure that, I could spend a long time on this answer, but President Obama made one of the most fatal decisions of his presidency when he chose not to stand with our ally Israel. I want everyone in this room to know one thing. As President of the United States, I'm going to stand with Israel. I'm going to stand with Israel. When President Obama chose to not stand with Israel, that action alone had the potential of changing the course of history. That's why we have to make him a one-term president. We have to stop what's going on internationally. And I don't know if any of you saw the debate in Sioux City. They've been replaying it all weekend. Fox was playing it again, I think, tonight. This is so crucial because Iran is about to get a nuclear weapon. And President Obama was very foolish, dangerous. He gave Iran the luxury of time, and they've been developing this nuclear weapon. Well, we can't allow them to have it, and I'll tell you why. They even said as recently as September and August, that they would use a nuclear weapon to eradicate Israel off the face of the map. You don't think that would change history, having a nuclear bomb go off and taking Israel out off the earth? And they've said they'll use it against the United States. They mean it. And that's one thing we learned in the last 100 years. When a madman speaks, you listen to them. The people who had read Mein Kampf knew what the potential that there was. We have heard from a madman in the president of Iran and the mullahs that run Iran, and we cannot take this lightly. So I agree with the concept that you have to review all the foreign aid. I totally agree with that, and we got to stop a lot of it. And we've also got to stop being providing the defense for Europe. They've got to stand on their own and grow up. And other parts of the world have to do the same thing. They have to take their own responsibility for defense. But when it comes to foreign aid, we have got to stand with our ally Israel. And this is a crucial issue. And what the gentleman had referred to is the fact that our troops just finished pulling out of Iraq. Now, no one wants troops out there. No one wants men and women our brave men and women in harm's way. I don't. Only a fool wants war. But this is a very serious situation. We have spent about 9 years, nearly $1 trillion, and 4,400 lives to liberate Iraq, where there has been so much damage done. We always knew what was going to happen. If we don't have stability in that area, Iran would come down we would have no meaningful way to have sanctions on them because they'd have access to ports in Iraq, and they also would have access to their banking system, and that's what we're going to see because Iraq can't stand on their own right now. That's all we were doing. President Obama was given on a silver platter the victory in Iraq. The victory was already won. He had it. All he had to do is just secure the peace. And our brave men and women were doing it brilliantly. And so these were allies working with us. So President Barack Obama spit in the face of our allies, and he has been kissing up to our enemies. That you cannot do as a president. He has set us back because he has sent the signal to other nations. Why would you work with the U.S.? We're completely untrustworthy. That's not who we are. One thing that bothers me about the president is that he has been treating the United States like we're a banana republic. We aren't. We're a first world nation. And when I am president, this country will again be respected in the world. We will be a first world nation. We'll get our financial house in order and our foreign policy in order. Because I guarantee you one thing, I will never step one toe out of the United States ever and apologize for the United States of America. That would never happen.
As an Army dad, whose daughter has done 3 tours, and my younger son 16 months at Mosul. So
oh, God.
It's not just
That's right.
politics.
Well, God bless you, and thank you for the sacrifice of your son and your daughter. Thank you for their sacrifice. And thank you for the sacrifice of every veteran that's in this room tonight as well. Thank you. My dad signed up for the Air Force down in Waterloo, Iowa, got married in his sergeant uniform, and my stepdad was in the Army, and my brother retired full Navy. I thank God for our military. I thank God for them. I admire them and respect them, and they need to be fully resourced because we wouldn't even be here tonight in Mason City. None of us would be here if it wasn't for our military. Not one. Because they secured our freedom for us, and they keep our freedom for us. And I know that was our last question, but you have your hand up, and you get the last question.
Thank you. My question is twofold. Would you care to comment, please, on Ron Paul's appearance last Friday night on the Jay Leno show?
Thank you.
When he denounced your negativity against Muslims living in the United States and Muslims in general. And the second part would be your comment on immigrants in the United States living here for 25 years. What do you think about, their deportation?
Okay, thank you for asking both of those questions. I appreciate it. On Ron Paul's statement, he was on the Jay Leno show on Friday night, and he said, when Jay Leno asked him to comment on Michele Bachman, he said, well, she hates Muslims. And he said it more than once. And I thought, where did you find that I hate Muslims? You won't find anywhere where I hate Muslims. I don't. It's an outrageous statement that Ron Paul made, and I call on him to apologize. It's not true, and he'd have to show his evidence of that being true, but it's not. And also, I think it's important to note that there really are haters, and the haters are the president of Iran and the mullahs, who've already stated their desire is to be, they're genocidal maniacs. They want to take Israel off the face of the map. That's haters. That's a hater. I'm not a hater. They're haters. And it's not the Iranian people. My quarrel is not with the people of Iran, but it's the leadership in Iran that has made that statement. Those are the haters. And your second question is on immigration. As I said, I believe that we build the fence, secure the border, and we follow our deportation laws, the laws of the land. And I think that's what we need to do, is follow the laws of the land and make English the official language of the United States government. The proposal was talked about in the debates by Newt Gingrich regarding people that are here for 25 years in the community and have already blended into society and that sort of thing. I understand that. But that isn't where Newt Gingrich really has come down on. He signed a letter in the Wall Street Journal where he said that he is in support of making 11 million illegal aliens legal. He wants to give them a red card, and he talked about that in the debate. That's a very different thing than people that are here 25 years. That's very different. When you make 11 million illegal workers legal, that's an amnesty for illegals to be here in the United States and become legal. He wants to give them red cards, and what that would mean, quite frankly, is within literally a couple of months, there'd be a huge movement that would rise up that would say this: we can't have second-class citizens in the United States, and this is discriminating against these people. And it wouldn't even be a year, and it would be full-blown amnesty. This is a big issue, because we did have amnesty under Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan said, well, it'll be a million people, and I think Newt Gingrich voted for that amnesty. It will be 1 million people, and then we'll be done. Well, it wasn't 1 million, it was 3 million. And all it did is it brought more people in. If we would give that red card to them, all that would be is an inducement and a magnet to bring more people in. Here's part of the issue. About 2 weeks ago, Mark Stein wrote a column, and he said 50% of the Mexican population has moved north of the border. Think of that. 50% of the Mexican population. This is having a very real effect and impact on our economy. We got high unemployment in this country. We've got high unemployment. And there's a lot of people who are American citizens who need jobs and are looking for jobs. And that's why, we've got to enforce our laws that are on the books, and that's what I'm going to do as President of the United States.
Will you continue to extend unemployment?
Pardon?
Will you continue to extend unemployment time after time?
No, I've already come out on that issue. I said that I would not extend that because we are broke. We are dead broke. We were $8.67 trillion in debt the day I came into office. I think I told you that. Today it's $15 trillion. And so think of it. Let me put it this way. This year we spent $3.7 trillion, but we only took in $2.2 trillion in revenue, which means we went in the hole. $1.5 trillion. So now think of it this way. Okay, I know. I'm going to end. Back off, you guys. Think of it this way.
There's that spine.
Yeah, I know. Now imagine if your income this year was $22,000, but your family spent $37,000. So you're in the hole at the end of the year, $15,000. And then the next year, you make $22,000, but you spend $37,000. I'm telling you, you wouldn't be living too long like that, would you? The sheriff would come and your stuff would be on your driveway. You'd be done. Well, we are the government. This is the nonsense that's been going on. That's why as President of the United States, I'm going to do what Iowa does. I'm going to do what my husband and I do in our business and our family. We don't spend any more than what we take in. We just don't. That's what the government has to do, not keep spending. And right now, unemployment is 99 weeks, 2 years. I talked to a guy who has a business in North Dakota. He can't hire people because he said people are staying on unemployment because they want to get all 99 weeks. Now, look, I don't begrudge people who lose a job. I understand it's tough times. It's tough times. But we have got to get our financial house in order. And I'm the one who is going to do it. So I need your help. I need your support. Come out on January 3rd, and we're going to win this thing, and we're going to send a shockwave around the world. God bless you all. God bless you.
Just a couple quick announcements. Can I turn this back on? Couple quick announcements, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the gentleman in the back waving the signs and the iPad, if you go to him, if you want to be a caucus or a precinct captain, or you want to volunteer on the night of the caucus in this area, go to him and sign up. If you're willing to go out and vote for it, go to him and sign up. Also, that's another way you can help when you ask that question, is by doing that. And then we're going to stay here and take some questions or sign autographs or something else I was going to say. I don't remember what it was. The video. Thank you. We're going to shoot a quick video. And if you want to be in the video, we're just going to shoot a quick video. A quick video about Mason City and our stop here. So if you're willing to come behind us right here, come behind Michelle, and be in the video.
And I'm happy to sign autographs and take pictures.
Yep, and then afterwards she's going to sign autographs, take pictures, whatever, shake hands, whatever you'd like. She'll do that after this video.
And she's going to give to you if you want to see the parade. That will be great. And if you want to... There we go. Okay, great.
Shut that mic off.
There you go. Hi, my name is Michele Bachman. We are in Mason City at the Prime and Wine in Cerro Gordo County, the county where my mom was born and raised. And I'm so delighted to be here. I'm Michele Bachman. I need your support at the Iowa caucuses January 3rd. I need your vote on January 3rd. This is how we're going to take our country back. Take a moment to watch this important video. Help us to win this effort, and together we'll make Barack Obama a one-term president. God bless you. Yes.